Oh la la! Oh yeah.
People like games.
What up, folks? It's Reggie, and it's been a while since I played Hades, but it's coming out on Xbox Game Pass tomorrow, as of the time of this recording. So, we're going to do a little run-through for the beginners who have not had a chance to play, and everybody who's riding that Game Pass wave, because Game Pass is the future. That's for another time. So right now, we're in our starting home base, the House of Hades. A lot of these things are going to come to you later on in the game, but we'll just take a quick look at some of them. We've got the contractor, where you can buy mostly aesthetics for the house, but there are certain things that you can buy from here that will affect some of the chambers that you encounter later in the game. That's really more towards after your first win, when you've gotten a couple runs down. Got Orpheus right here, always got the tunes. Down here we've got our main shop. You can see on the right hand of the screen, there's a ton of currencies. Most of the time, you're going to be exchanging them up the ladder, as so. And you're really looking for Titan Blood and Ambrosia. Those two things are what you really need to start moving up in the game and unlocking new weapons and new forms for your weapons. Once we get over here, and once you earn the fishing rod, I believe you get it from Poseidon. Once you do that, you can start fishing in the game and exchanging them for more currency. There's a ton of ways that you're going to earn this stuff, mostly by playing the game the proper way, but you'll get some more through random things over here in the House of Hades. The first important thing we really have to talk about is in Zagreus' room, and that's the mirror. The mirror you feed with darkness, which is that purple stuff you're seeing in the top of the screen. You're going to earn that throughout the game. You're going to earn a ton of it, and every time you get it, it's going to be spent on these things. These are your passive abilities that are going to move with you through each of your runs. You're not going to keep all your boons. You're going to reset those every time, but these things are going to help you out massively. It's going to be pretty much impossible for anybody picking it up on their first run, no mirror, to try to do anything close to beating an entire run. I know someone out there has done it and can do it, and I'm not going to say that it's impossible, but I think for the first time playing ever, it's going to take you a while, and you're going to need to start working down this list. Some of the major ones that you're looking at are Shadow Presence isn't bad. Chthonic Vitality, that's probably something you're going to spend a lot on in the beginning. Each time you enter a chamber, you get some more life. Death Defiance, huge. Name says it all. Once you buy one, you get an extra life. Greater Reflex. This is probably the most unsung hero. You need a second dash. Double dashing is huge. You move around so much quicker. It completely changes how you can move during combat. Invest in this right away. The rest of them are good. Deep Pockets is great. Starts you off with some money, so when we see a shop, you'll have a little something to start with. Privileged Status is good. You'll get that later on down the line. Really all it is when you've got two God's Curses in effect, status curses. When you've got two of those curses in effect on an enemy, they get plus X% of damage. I've got plus 40 on because I've maxed it out. I don't want to go too deep into the rest of it because it is going to take a while for you to work down that mirror anyway. You'll probably get your first one. You'll definitely get your first one before you make your way all the way to the bottom. In here, we've got our Armory. This is where you're going to basically set your loadout for the entire match. So you've got 6 different weapons to choose from, each of them having 4 different forms. Really what you're going to start with is Zagreus' sword. Each weapon has a basic attack, a special attack, and you can dash, and each one usually has something a little individual to itself. So The dash strike is not really something individual, but again, we're starting off with the simplest, probably one of the weakest weapons in the game with Zagreus' sword.
What are the limits of your power?
This is easily the best sword in the game, in my opinion. Let's not go into too much detail, though. Let's go into what I think is the best beginner weapon, the spear. You get, let's go with the basic spear. You get much higher range than the sword. You get a throw that deals damage both ways. You can dash strike much like the sword. And you can use the spin attack, which I, in all honesty, don't really use that much. But I definitely think this is the best for beginners. You get a lot of movement, you get a lot of reach. It makes things completely easier. But probably my favorite weapon, the most fun, is the bow. Seems pretty counterintuitive. It doesn't really feel like the weapon you would want to pick. But man, do I love this thing. I've probably gotten my best heats out of this. If you get a really good loadout with this thing, you could pretty much run the game. But we'll move right here to keepsakes. Keepsakes are basically an additional passive buff that you can add to yourself, and in between boss chambers you can actually change them out. There are some that there are restrictions on, such as Skelly's Tooth. Once you put that on one time, its effect is basically another Death Defiance. You cannot change it out. If you change it out without using it, you will lose that chance at a Death Defiance. So if you have been getting pretty far in the game, but you can't really get past that last boss, you want to wait until the last time you're allowed to change and then put the Lucky Tooth on. You can get a lot of advantage out of switching in between and figuring out exactly what you want. You've got a lot here that have some passive effects. Bone Hourglass is really great. Again, something with the shops that we'll see soon. Chthonic Purse, again, shops, coins, we'll use those. But then we've got the God Trinkets. The God Trinkets are huge because that actually helps you dictate to a degree what boons you're going to get throughout your run. So let's start with, we'll go with Athena because Athena is actually a great beginner god. We'll start with Athena and we'll run.
It's time, Baraka.
The spear. I should mention real quick. You're seeing these at the bottom. You won't see them for a while. These are summons. I will not use it during this run. We're not even going to go that far. I don't even know if we're going to show you the first boss. We're just going to keep it very light and simple. I don't want to spoil too much. Ignore this.
Stick around on my account, boyo.
Once again, late game stuff, you won't see this. This is packs of punishment will happen after you get your first win. It's a way to make the game harder. Don't make it harder on yourself before you even win it once.
I don't think so.
So now we're going to see the first boon that pops up in here should be Athena. That's because I have her trinket on. So, we come over here.
Envision your success and choose the means by which you
Now in each chamber you're going to get something, but it's not always going to be a god. So you have to keep that in mind. There's a whole strategic element to this, and combining your gods, which we're going to try to force a nice combo, is going to be tough.
Yes.
So, Divine Dash is easily one of the... It's the best boon for you to get as a beginner. It just so happened to work out pretty well that I got it on the first time. And yeah, Phalanx Shot looks nice. I like using it sometimes. It does a good amount of damage. It's at epic, but Divine Dash is huge. Divine Strike is not bad because of that percentage attack boost. Percentage boosts are almost always what you're going to want to pick up. They usually have the best bang for their buck. But again, right now, because we're doing the beginner run, Divine Dash is easily your best bet. Every time you dash, you're going to deflect, and like you saw before, I've got 2 dashes. You're going to start with 1. Don't worry, you'll get 2 pretty quick. So now, we just go with our couple basic attacks. Everything's pretty easy right now.
Wretches.
So the cool thing about the Divine Dash is that it actually does do damage on its own too.
Nectar bottle.
As you'll see though, see how hard it is to get that charge to max? I don't really recommend using that. I really think that you can time your slashes right. You can throw in some nice dash strikes. And don't forget about your cast, which is something I often do. Now let's see. Your first area up to the boss is not really going to be all that bad. It's pretty simple. Let's see if we can find as if you wouldn't, but you can't exit without picking up your boon at the end. So right now, what I just picked up was a heart. Each time, you can't really tell because I'm kind of in the way, but each time you pick up a heart, you get increased overall health, and you get a bit of your health healed. Now we're picking up darkness. So after I finish this chamber, my reward is going to be a darkness, which is what we said before is what we're going to use to upgrade the mirror. You can get hurt after you clear the encounter by those bombs. I've died to it. Don't let that be you.
Something of the mirror.
So now, this isn't great. I'm going to do something that you're not going to have access to just to see if we can make things a little bit easier so I can give you an idea of why certain combos work really well. That's the symbol for Ares. Ares, in my opinion, is probably on the low tier of gods. He has some good... He does have some good boons, but it's not usually what I'm looking for. He's usually a secondary pickup. If I'm running Aphrodite, I usually want to run someone else who's doing either some kind of status effect on them, on my enemies, or who also has a percentage boost, which Ares does not have. So I'm going to alter this, and I'll hope coin. So this is a palm, power up palm. Let's go for that. Power up palms. Actually, this is a stupid move. Power up palms, what they do is they level up each of your boons. So each of your boons can actually, they start off at their base level, and each time you get a palm, they upgrade. You can get a slice of a palm that will randomly upgrade one of your boons. But you're going to see those in shops, which we will see soon.
The power of the gods.
I only have one boon, so that's all I can choose to upgrade.
Powered up.
Now, these will occasionally appear, and they're kind of easy to miss. These cauldrons are basically a mini shop. So you come here, and let's see, I can gain +1 from my cast. I don't really have a cast boon yet. A lot of the time, this is where you're going to find healing, so make sure to look out for these and save up your coins, because you're not going to heal that often. It comes randomly. It happens sometimes. There are designated points where you're going to heal, but don't expect to heal too much, especially once you've just gotten a heal. It might be a while. It might not be till the next boss, so watch out. More darkness. Not that I really need it at this point, but So we'll run through and we'll see if we can fight Charon. Maybe get another boon while we're at it. I am a little sloppy. Like I said, 6 months. Okay. This is actually really cool. Alright, so we've got our first mini-boss encounter, which I was just doing a practice run before, and I took this thing out with a good sword, but man, it can be annoying.
You want to make it out of there? My rooms are just about the only way to go.
So Artemis, in my opinion, actually is really, she pairs well with a lot of people. She's someone you also want to pick up. So I got 2 epics and a rare. Let's see what we get. Your cast seeks foes with plus 10% chance to deal critical damage. That's her whole deal, is critical damage. It's huge. Your special is stronger with 20%. This is huge right now. So you already get a percentage damage boost, and you're getting a critical chance. Right now is when you start thinking, all right, I'm feeding critical for the rest of this run. That's what you want to do. You want to boost your percentages. You want to get something on your basic attack, like at this point, maybe another Athena. That's going to be huge. So right now, we'll just pick this up, and we'll hope that we can pick up another god before we go to the first boss. These gemstones, those are going to pay for most of those aesthetics I was mentioning earlier. So now, the first one took him out on a critical hit. Now my special is doing fat damage, even on the regular, because I already got an 80% increase. Now we've got that 20% chance to do crit damage.
Time to collect.
And you do get bonus damage for backstabbing, which automatically happens with the staff. Okay, so like the cauldron that I showed you before, this is a trove trial. You can do this to basically run another enemy gauntlet, and the faster you do it, the more of that 150 reward you'll earn. You can also earn stuff like health, but the more time ticks down, the less you earn. So if you're looking to get health and you're not really confident, you might want to think twice. Now, this exclamation point is a special encounter. There's a special encounter in each world. They are not a fight. There's someone who's going to help you. You're not going to see it on every run. You're not going to see all 3 in every world. So sometimes you want to take it. I'm not going to take it right now because our first move is going to be to the shop. Now, this is actually a great shop to get. So I could either get another Artemis, probably for my attack, or I could buy a hammer. Now, hammers upgrade your weapon in very interesting and very cool ways. Some of them sound a lot better than they actually are, though. So you're gonna tweak around with these a lot. Let's see what we got here. Massive spin. Sounds cool. You could probably use it. Not touching that thing. Not with a 10-foot ball. Exploding launcher. Now that is one of my favorites. Your special becomes a shot, so you don't get your return the same way. It just explodes. And it does a pretty good amount of damage. And the great thing is, too, that 50 base damage is going to be much higher than the usual base damage that you have on your throw. So, that 50 base damage is going to be getting boosted by Artemis's 80% on your special. These are the kind of numbers that are going to make you go from losing to the first boss, losing to the second boss, to running through them, getting to the third boss, taking them out in 2 minutes. Not even 3 minutes. I shouldn't even say that long. Take them out in 2 minutes, then run up through the final boss, get it over with. When you stack on these abilities, that's a game changer. And Chain Skewer is actually not that bad. Let's do it for fun.
More witches?
Now the thing is, I don't remember if Chain Skewer just comes right back to me. Oh, it does not. I have to return it. And that's the downside of it. So when you're using Chain Skewer, you're going to be left defenseless.
Shine.
At least with the spear. But again, those hammer upgrades, those are going to be individual to each weapon.
Useless.
Don't forget, it's easy to walk right past these. So let's see. Gain a random item. Why not? So now we've got another Palm of Power. Now I can really start using this thing.
Gods grant me strength.
So now
My senses.
we just hopped up to 96%. Okay, so here's a little insider trick. Once you already hit your first shop, if you see a shop again, that means that right after the shop, you're going to see the first boss. So we already saw one shop. We have an option for a shop or a heart. Either way we go, the chamber after that is going to be the boss. There's always an opportunity for a shop right before the boss. I don't want to say this for sure, but I believe that also means that the heart would be free. But let's do the shop. You can tell that you're going to go right into a boss because of the little symbol right there. You see the little skull. And usually when you're still going through for your first time, when you haven't beat it yet, you're going to earn some of those bigger currencies. So let's go ahead and buy Palm.
Not enough coin.
I'm not trying to buy that. Although Aphrodite would be nice right now. Let's buff our special again. So it's going to be great for taking out mobs, but not really for the first boss. So this is the one real, I guess, spoilery thing that we're going to go over in this run through. Is going to be the first boss. But even so, you're not going to see this boss for a while because there are 3 Harpy sisters. Haha, spoilers. There we go. Sorry about that. Not Harpy sisters. The same Yu-Gi-Oh. Oh. Alright, so we got a little slow. Keep forgetting I have the Athena on. Let's see it in action. I know it already happened. Whoa! Once she does her little spin move. So you might be able to see those deflections real quick. Yep. There we go. Can I kill it with the wrong move? Okay. So, that was up through the first boss. This went a lot longer than I thought it would, but I hope that it helps someone. So, pick up your currency. Let me know how you like Hades. Reggie with People Like Games. Peace.